Okay, so our sixth section here is called marriage, and it is all about getting married. So we interviewed four people, two different couples for this one. Kyle, you want to take away with the first one?
So our first couple is my grandparents, which is my mom's parents. It is Raymond and Wendy Burrell, and they have now been married for 52 years. So still going strong, but I really love what they had to say about the topics that we asked them about, and I hope they encourage y'all. Now I'm gonna pass it to Luke to talk about Justin and Courtney.
So my youth pastor and his wife is who we interviewed for the second one. They have been married 3 years, I believe. So a much younger couple than Popper. They're still young, but they're great. But I interviewed Justin and Courtney, and they had so much good stuff to talk about. They love each other, and it's clear to see. But just as a newer couple, see the two different sides that were really very similar between a couple who's been married 50 plus years to a couple who's been married for less than 5 years. And so the coolest thing was to see just how many parallels between the two there were. But yeah, so the first topic we have is the parallel of marriage. And that is all about how the Bible paints a perfect picture of marriage. And like all the time, it constantly talks about we are the bride of Christ and he is the bridegroom. So just showing that parallel that we see and the things that the Bible talks about, that is a clear picture for how marriage should look. And then we talked about the gift of marriage, and I'll let Kyle talk a little bit about that.
So the gift of marriage, we talked to Nana and Popper, which is my grandparents, and then we talked to Justin and Courtney too. So Nana and Popper, they told us that like one of the biggest gifts of marriage was raising a family. And I know Justin and Courtney just had baby girl.
Yes.
And recently, and my grandparents.
Coolest thing was immediately. So when we asked them basically, what was some of the highlights of your marriage? And Nana and Popper both said raising a family, and Justin and Courtney immediately said their baby girl Rocky. Mm-hmm. So that was, well, first they said every day is a highlight, but then they were like, if we had to choose one, it would be raising a family and Rocky. So.
Oh, yeah. So those are like the gifts of marriage. That's what we'll talk about in that section. And then we'll go to the importance of marriage. I'm going to pass this one to Luke.
So the importance of marriage was basically us talking about one of the hotter topics in modern day that shouldn't really be a hot topic, but the idea of just keeping marriage sacred. Because a lot of times we think of marriage as just another time where you have to spend your life with someone and only that one person, which is sad because you should want that, because being married is awesome. I don't know. I'm not married, but this is just a ring. But it's not a wedding ring. But seeing these couples so happy, married together forever, it's just, they love each other so much. And just the idea of keeping marriage sacred is what we go into for that one. And then we go into our last one, which is...
So our last topic is the concept of marriage, and I was really passionate talking about this one because I am like a big stickler on divorce. I am not a fan of it. And like the Bible always talks about how like divorce is not right. You should only be married once, and you should only have a wedding day once. And that's a special day in your life. So in the concept of marriage, you'll hear us write about divorce, and we'll relate it back to the Bible too, and we'll talk about how Nana Popper told us about just you can't really do that to the kids, and if you have kids and then you end up getting divorced, that's hard on the kids. So I really loved talking about that, and I was very passionate about talking about how you gotta do it for the kids, and you got to stay together and stick together through it all. And communication is key. I feel like that's one of the biggest things that both of the couples that we talked about, is that communication works everything out. So I'm really excited for this section of marriage. So I'm excited to see what it brings.
Yeah.